Hello family, welcome back to the channel, MC Love Matters. And if you are new here, welcome as well. My name is Carol, and in this channel we talk about marriage, relationships, family dynamics, and everything in between. So welcome on board. I'm sure you will have fun with us. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you will get notified whenever I post a new video. Today, I would like to give you 5 quick tips on how to create a healthy relationship with your in-laws. We all get so excited when we are planning for the wedding. The two shall become one. Yes, the two shall become one. And sometimes we forget one detail is that as we're becoming one, it means that we will have now a new set of parents, right? You will gain a new family before you start forming your own. So it's very important that you address this issue of in-laws. And before I start giving you those tips, just to let you know that if you're not married, don't stop watching this video, because actually it's very important for you to watch this before you enter into marriage, so that this will create a very healthy relationship between you and your in-laws. So the 5 quick tips that I would like to give you today are: number 1, love your in-laws as you will love your own parents. Yes. So the way you would like your spouse to treat your parents, that's the same way you would treat his parents, because he loved them, he did everything with them, and the best gift that you can give him is to also, or I shouldn't say the best gift, one of the best gifts that you should give him, that you can give him, is to also love his parents. Love them, care for them, do whatever that you will love your spouse to do for your parents. I know there are some parents there that are very hard to love. It's difficult to love them. They never satisfy. It's okay. You make a decision to love them no matter what, because they are your parents now. Okay? So that's the number 1 tip. The second tip that I will give you today is set the boundaries. Early on in your marriage, at a very early stage in your marriage, it's important that you sit down with your spouse and discuss about the things that should or should not happen when it comes to in-laws. And if you are in a situation where you did not do that early on in your marriage, it's never too late. You can still sit down and then, draw lines, have like boundaries, like expectations of what your in-laws should or should not do. And as you're sitting down with your spouse to talk about those things, it's also important that you relate those boundaries to your parents. It's important that you actually have a conversation with them so that it will avoid conflict, or it will decrease, misunderstandings. And one example that I will tell you when it comes to creating boundaries is the way you raise your children. For example, imagine that your in-laws come for a visit for a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, like they come to visit you, and they do not necessarily agree with you on the way you raise your children. The fact that they are aware of the boundaries, they will not come and attack you on the way you raise your children. Matter of fact, probably your mother or your father can call you aside and say, I see the way you're doing this. Don't you think that you should be doing this instead? That's okay, because I strongly believe that we need our parents' advices, on certain issues. But we have to make sure that those remain just advices. Now it will be up to you to take it or leave it, or even discuss with your spouse. And it is not because your father or your mother points something to you that you have to implement without even discussing with your spouse. You discuss with your spouse, and if it's something that makes sense, or if it's something that both of you agree on doing it, go ahead and do it. But don't because mommy said that, okay, we have to change. No, boundaries, because once you have the boundaries, you know that you yourself, you cannot just cross the line. Good? So the third point that I will mention today is respect your spouse in front of your in-laws. The way you address your spouse, that's the way people will address him or her as well. But when it comes to the in-laws, it's very important because this is their child. For example, you are there, you're the wife, you decide to talk to your husband anyhow in front of his parents. You know, mother-in-law will not take it, you know, easily. Like, she will not take it well. Let's put it this way. She will not take it well. Like, she will be like, how dare you? So don't give your in-laws a reason to interfere in your affairs. You know, when your in-laws are around, just make sure that a word doesn't come out anyhow, right? Because you have to make sure, because you don't want to rub the mother the wrong way. I'm not saying that should give her the right to talk to you anyhow, do anything, no, but just don't create that. Don't open that door, if I can put it this way. So always make sure that in front of your in-laws, you speak to your spouse with respect and kindness. Number 4, whenever there's an issue between you and your in-laws, speak to your spouse and he or she will be the one dealing with his parents, and vice versa. For example, you had a misunderstanding with, this time let's put father-in-law. You had a misunderstanding with your father-in-law. Your husband knows him better than you do, right? So you will explain to your husband what happened, and he will be able to speak to his father, and vice versa. But also make sure that you don't always report every little things that, you know, it's not even a big deal and you go and report. And even you, the husband, by the time your wife comes and tell you what happened, you know, don't just jump in the situation. You also have to take the time to observe. It doesn't mean that you don't trust your wife. You believe what you said, but you don't know where your parents are standing right now, how they can welcome your remark or, you know, your intervention. So use judgment and use wisdom. But one thing is for sure, in-laws, daughter-in-law, don't go and confront your parents-in-laws. Like, for sure, that one, just refrain from doing that unless you have another type of special relationship. Because honestly, I strongly believe, like, if it comes to me, I believe that my parents are the type that my sister-in-law can tell them if there's a problem, right? They are open that way. But even that, I'm pretty sure that in order for them to do that, they will make sure that they you know, they put the right word where it's supposed to, right? Just because you don't want them to misunderstand you. I hope that makes sense. So basically, let husband handle your issues with his parents and vice versa. Okay. Number 5, last one. Number 5 is giving. When it comes to giving, allow your spouse to give to your parents and vice versa. Again, so whenever you want to give a gift, it's important that, you know, your wife is the one giving, because they want to see that, you know, your wife is generous. Your wife, you know, actually loves them. We'll go back to the loving part. You know, they want to make sure that our daughter-in-law actually loves us. She cares for us. She cares about us. So it doesn't mean that you shouldn't give gifts to your parents. No. From time to time, you yourself give gifts to your parents. You yourself call your parents. And when it comes to giving, always make sure that you agree on what to give to the in-laws, because that creates a lot of conflict. A lot of problems. So always make sure you talk about those giving things. You know, there's a situation, discuss with husband, and husband discuss with wife, and yeah, but make sure that daughter-in-law send gift to your parent-in-laws, and then vice versa. Call them, you know, check on them, show them love. Go back to the first point, right? So those are the things that I wanted to talk about today. No more outlaws, just in-laws, right? So I hope this video blessed you, bless your marriage, enjoy your marriage. And if you're not married yet, you got the tips for your future in-laws. Okay, so I will see you very soon in my next video. You take care of yourself. A bientôt. Bye bye.